Okay, so first, how much television would you say you watch in a typical week?
A typical week, if I'm being honest, like that would probably be, I want to say maybe 28 hours, saying 4 hours a day.
It's
Make
okay.
that
It's always more than people admit, so that's fine.
always more. I'm trying to be honest. I mean, I do have to say when I'm watching TV, it's on in the background when I'm doing homework or something, so I'm not like just sitting on my butt all day like watching TV, but it's usually like it's on. I'll count
And
it.
like what time of the day? Like nighttime?
It's definitely nighttime, probably 5 p.m. on, or even later than that, actually, like 7 p.m. on, to be honest.
Okay. Do you
And
so do
I
you ever watch any nightly newscasts?
not usually. The one thing I can say I do occasionally watch is one of my shows on one of my channels ends around dinner time, and then the local news to like my like college hometown like hometown and college. That local news comes on. Sometimes I end up catching some news on the school budget or something, but other than that, I don't sit down and watch nightly
So is it
news.
like the Fredonia news channel or like a regional?
Yeah, it's like a regional one, so it's like I mean Fredonia is included, but it's also like the area, like the Chautauqua County, which the county is and stuff. So I mean it's just your typical local news, but so if I'm lucky and making dinner and can't find the remote, that's what I'll be watching.
Okay, that's okay. So how much of the 28 hours would you say is dedicated to watching the news? You can be honest. It's okay.
um, Being honest, probably like 30 minutes of it, maybe.
A week?
Yeah. It's like adding those little increments of time up every day that I just told you about. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
trying to be honest here.
That's okay. Like that's the whole point of this. Okay, so how else do you get your news? Do you pay attention to any newspapers, internet articles, any radio, anything like that?
I don't actually. My commute to campus is like 5 minutes, so I don't actually really listen to the radio. Most of sometimes like I have a personal email account that I go through, and it's on Yahoo, so I see a lot of Yahoo news when I just go to the homepage, and sometimes I flip through the top stories and see what strikes my interest, and if I see it, then I read it. Other than that, I usually get my news through social media, usually, which is kind of sad, but people will share articles of important or what they think is important and feel like they should get out there. So that's where I usually get my news from.
I mean, even though it's BuzzFeed.
Yeah, but
But that's
and
what's
you're
fun
like,
to
what?
look at. So, okay,
It's
so
true.
is there any reason that you don't pay much attention to the world news?
To be honest, I'm not sure. It's just after like a long day of classes and like listening to these abstract concepts and the world and everything in between. Like the last thing I want to do is like sit there and feel like I'm being lectured again throughout the day. When I'm home though, my parents watch it a lot, so I'll like watch it just by being in like the same room as them a lot. So like I don't know, but I feel like it's just different when I'm at school because I'm hanging out with like other people my age, and like that's not what we all go and look out for to seek for like interest and everything. I don't know though. It's kind of weird. I guess I've always kind of viewed the news as like old people kind of thing because like this is just like what my parents always did, and it's what like my grandparents do, and like my aunt always does at her house, and sitting there with the nightly news while drinking their decaf
That was
coffee.
actually one of my next questions. Most people our age consider the news to be boring, and for people that are older, how do you feel about that? Do you agree? Which you obviously
um,
do.
yeah, obviously. I definitely feel like there's like not a stigma on it, but there's definitely something that like says like old people watch the news. It's not like it's negative or anything, but there is just I feel like I know I'm trying to speak, not trying to speak for our generation, but just like judging by like my friend group at college, where there isn't adults to influence us watching news, we don't choose the news. So I feel like that definitely says something about our generation for sure.
Right. So like what age do you think is the age where you will start watching the news or like you expect yourself to be involved in news?
I definitely expect myself to be involved when I actually have a real career and like a real and like like I'm into adulthood definitely. Like I feel like I'm definitely like obviously early adulthood right now. So I definitely just feel like so abstract still, but like I don't know, I just picture like a homeowner
Like
like
late
watching the
30s,
news.
mid 30s, something like that?
Definitely, like probably even like late 20s, you could even start. I just feel like people start doing it like when it makes sense. Because obviously, if you're in a work environment, you need to be active on your news and what's going on. If you don't know about like the Ebola crisis going on and you're like in a business field, like come on, like you have to know. But like
Right.
it pertains so less to my life right now where it doesn't hold significance. So that's why I don't think it's in my current life, but I could definitely see myself as an adult getting into like the news more.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think that's normal for people our age?
Yeah, I really do. Just like I said before, it's just like our culture, I feel like, and I don't know, we're also living like a culture of like reality TV where like that is
Mm-hmm.
like the more preferred and the more interesting topic to watch. Like why would you want to watch a story about children dying in Africa when you could like watch someone like I don't know do something crazy on reality TV? Like it's such a toss up.
Right.
But I definitely think it's like similar for a lot of people like our age. Like it just like is how it is, and I think that when we all get into like our careers and like really go on like our career path that like will really carry us through life and everything, I think then we will more get like used to the whole we gotta watch the news to be informed kind of
Right.
stuff. But
Okay. So the news is more accessible than ever and it's easier to get a hold of. But now it's up to the reader to find their own outlet. And so because it's up to the reader, you're only reading or searching on the internet and hearing about things that you want to read and hear about. Do you think that this raises a problem?
yeah, actually, I definitely think it does because I know for even myself personally, I seek out what I'm interested in. Just like I was saying with like the Yahoo homepage, like I look for articles, the top ones that interest me, and if it doesn't interest me, like I'm not going to click on it. And then
Hmm.
it just takes a swipe of the mouse and it's gone, like out of my conscious. So, and also there's like so many different portals in a way that you can control the media being sent to you. Like through Twitter, you can choose who you follow, so you can choose what you're seeing. And I definitely think it's a problem because obviously it's limiting. People might not realize that they even are interested in the news if they're not following it. But it's kind of weird because you would think that all this technology and different types of communication would actually broaden people's awareness of the news. But yeah, you can just tell by like people can be like, oh, what do I want to like learn and be educated about Beyonce into Google, and up will come all the most recent articles of Beyonce. So yeah, definitely a problem.
Okay.
Beyonce's not the problem, but
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Our generation has been described as the first of the information overload era. Like, for instance, as of 2013, every 60 seconds, there are over 170 million emails sent, 1 million Facebook statuses posted, over 600 videos uploaded to YouTube, over 20,000 iPhone apps downloaded all in 1 minute, every minute. So, what do you think that people are reading if it's not the news?
I feel like people are reading things like they're reading other people's blogs and they're taking online quizzes at BuzzFeed. They are going on, I mean, if I'm looking at myself, going on cosmopolitan.com, they're going at enews.com. I think the problem with all of this information overload is the lack of credible sources. So although people might be thinking that they're looking at like a source that has like all this information of a topic, like it's it's usually not the truth. Like, usually it's like some website Joe Schmo made up.
Oh,
And
that's not the truth?
no, it's not the truth. Don't believe it. And they're like, this is right. It fits with my opinion, and it's right. So, yeah, I mean, and that's what's kind of hard about all of this technology and information overload. It's hard to decide what is real and what's not. And going back to the whole like news discussion, I don't want to educate myself on something that's wrong, and I have a hard time myself deciding what's credible and what's not, besides like the obvious sources like CNN and like all of those, and like obvious news like NBC articles, like those I know are credible, but like I'm afraid to look at any other website because I'm like, I don't know how credible this source
Right.
is.
But and even those sites, they're like tilted and want you
Of
to
course.
believe a certain direction.
And a lot of times, the news is emphasized in ways to grab attention
Mm-hmm.
and even twist the story, and it's kind of like, okay, like this isn't helping.
Yeah, that's
Like,
a really good point.
yeah, so they twist it in a way that makes it more interesting, and obviously it's not true. And then it's just hard as like a reader. Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation?
Right, because we're just like overwhelmed with information that we have to figure out how to sort through everything and
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
make our own opinions, and that takes a lot of time. People don't want to do that.
Yeah, creating your own filter, almost like straining out all the bad. Like, not
Right,
everyone can do that. It's not that obvious. But,
right. So what are some prevalent world news stories that you know of that are going on right now?
well, the Ebola virus is
Oh, that's
very
everyone's
prevalent.
favorite.
Everyone's favorite topic. I actually first heard, like, when it was just, like, we were just hearing about it over social media. I actually, in my population society class, we actually spoke of the disease. And also in my health site class, but it went like along with like measles and mumps, so it was like relevant. But I watched a video in my population society class that like was like the World Health Organization like going into Africa and like helping out and just like really bringing to attention like the issues and everything of Ebola, of course. And then I saw it start to pop up in social media and everything. But it's a scary virus, but not as scary as people think it is.
No, right. Yeah.
But,
What
yeah.
about some prevalent pop culture news stories?
Well, luckily for you, I could talk about pop culture all day. I love news, and I always am tuning in to the stars. Um, Obviously, Beyonce, she recently got bangs, which I can't believe that's even a news article. But they don't even look that good, so that's a problem.
And does
Also,
Beyonce ever have a hairdo that doesn't look good? Why? Why does she have those?
exactly why? Why are they curled? Why are they so short? But apparently, people want to know. I mean, I wanted to know as soon as I saw a headline with Beyonce's name in it. You know, I'm clicking on it. Like,
Right, exactly.
I'm also contacting you about it. So, like, we don't miss a beat. Also, Blake Lively, she's pregnant with Ryan Reynolds' baby, and that's going to be a
I didn't know.
beautiful.
I knew she was pregnant. I didn't know that it was his though.
Yeah, they're married. They're married, and that's going to be a beautiful baby. And she also looks really really pretty pregnant too, which
I
kind of
didn't
makes
even
me
know they were
sad.
married.
Yeah, they like got married kind of like through a little bit. That's what the stars do. Like George Clooney, he got married
Yep.
like in like a different country.
Yeah.
So what else? There's so much. Like Honey Boo Boo show got canceled
Did it
because
for
of her.
sure? Did it for
Wait, what's
sure?
her
Or
mother's name? Yeah, it officially. I think it did, which is good for TLC because TLC should have been promoting that, and I think that's a good thing that they like recognize that problem.
I don't really know what the mom's name is. I've never watched the show, but I want to say it's Mama June, but it might be
Yeah,
Papa June.
it will.
I don't know.
I think it is. I don't really watch. I only watched the show like once, like, and it was 5 minutes worth, just so I could get an understanding of it, and I was like, that's enough for me
Yeah,
for
me
the
too.
day. But I mean, people say the world would be a better place without the show anyway, so I don't think we're losing much. But yeah, the Mama June is dating, and no, he's not even alleged. He got arrested for like sexually assaulting a child or
And
something
wasn't the
crazy.
child, maybe this isn't true, but wasn't one of the children he got arrested for her daughter?
It was her niece. That's
Oh,
what E News told me. I know.
oh.
Still, like the family. That's
But it
why
was
he
a long
got
time ago.
arrested.
Like it happened in like 2002 and she's still with him.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is disgusting.
that's a
So
problem.
it's definitely a problem. But obviously, it's a crazy news topic. But is
Okay,
that
and
enough?
for my last question, what is the most comical news story you've heard in the last 6 months? Or like roughly. I mean, it could have been something really recent. It could even be like something as long ago as like Balloon Boy or something.
Oh boy. Comical? Does it have to be comical in like the general public's opinion or in mine?
Either, like whatever, and it could be you could give me more than one, like just something that you think is really funny that you can't believe it made the news.
Okay. Well, even though Beyonce's bangs made the news and I was
Yeah,
fully
but
okay with
I
it,
we care about that. Like that's really important.
okay. The fact that Jessica Simpson recently cut her hair like a few days ago, and it was like all over the news, and I was like, okay, like who is Jessica Simpson? Tell me last time she put out a CD or anything. Why is she still like considered this like crazy slut? Like why are we like putting out like her hair? But at the same time, I was obviously watching E News, so like, why wouldn't they be talking about a celebrity? You know, like
Right.
obviously they're not going to be talking about that on like NBC nightly news. You know,
Well, I mean they
surprisingly,
might be. Like sometimes I'm surprised at the stuff that they talk
exactly.
about.
And also that reminds me. Sometimes when I've been watching news, like I remember on snow days, this would happen a lot. And then the more
Snow
daytime,
days like 10 years ago.
yeah, the more daytime the news gets, the more pop culture it gets. So I think they know what they're doing. Anyway, sorry, I was a little
Oh,
off.
definitely because it's like the stay-at-home moms and stuff that want to hear about
Like the Kathy Lee and whoever else. Not Kathy Lee.
Hoda. Yeah, Kathy
Yeah,
Lee and Hoda.
yes, yes.
Those
See,
women
they,
can drink alcohol
yes,
at 10 in the morning.
and they are appealing to pop culture as it is. They really are. So I don't know. I think they know the world people of the news know where this is going.
Yep, I
Well,
agree.
topic from my humorous article, but I just realized that point though.
But I think that's a problem too. Why like we are at such a like disadvantage because most of the news like and they put them on these shows that and these shows like they end like they're talking about news but like Good Morning America that show has an ending so people watch that but they also put too much like Good Morning America should that be so much about pop culture as it is. I mean there's
So
so much pop culture on that show, hardly any news at all.
I know, and then they like. I mean, I think they definitely do it to keep viewers watching. Like they'll be like, "Oh, we have this guest here today. She brought her book," and it'll be like some Real Housewives of Orange County, like
Right, right.
one that comes on there, and you're like, "Wait, what? I thought we were just talking about Ebola a
And
second."
most of the real news that they put is only like the weather or like a big like fire that's happening in California or something like that.
Definitely,
And
and
like
I
we know like that 24-hour news channels, they're going to be there. Like they're on 24/7. Like we know they're going to be there if we need them. That's why we don't watch.
exactly, and I think it's also pretty surprising. So I feel like most Americans, well, I shouldn't actually say that. I shouldn't generalize the statement, but just judging by my household, like we watch the news like every morning, like you know, like we all watched it like while we were getting ready, like kind of unconsciously watched it, like while we
Mhm.
were running around, like
Yeah,
brushing our
same
teeth.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of weird to me that they would choose to do pop culture news in that moment when a lot more viewers are watching than strictly news. But maybe they're trying to appeal to our new culture and the way it's changing, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's easier for us to get news like internationally or even in this country. Like we get it faster than we ever did before, but they just don't always air it,
So
you know,
true, yeah.
like, or they cover it up with other things, but.
Exactly, like sprinkle a little in throughout the whole segment. You're like, what the heck? But
Okay, well, those are all my questions. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
anytime.
And we're good with time too. So it's perfect.
Perfect. Awesome.